Buddha's examples of renunciation. Renunciation in Buddhism means to renounce the worldly world. Basically, renunciation is the recognition that all existence is permeated by suffering. When you realize this, it leads to what we might call a turning point. That is to say, the realization that all of common life is permeated by suffering causes us to look for something more, or something different, something which is absent of sufferings and afflictions. For the Buddha, after realizing all nature of life and human suffering in life, all living beings kill one another to survive, and that is a great source of suffering. Crown Prince Siddhartha stopped enjoying worldly pleasures. Furthermore, he himself saw an old man, a sick man, and a corpse. That led him to ponder why it was. He also felt unsettled by these sights. Clearly, he himself was not immune to these conditions, but was subject to the inevitable succession of old age, sickness and death. Thus he thought of leaving the world, in search of truth and peace. In the silence of that moonlit and breezy night, it was the full moon day of July. Such thoughts as these arose in him. Youth. The prime of life ends in old age, and man's senses fail him at a time when they are most needed. The health is weakened, when diseases suddenly creeps in. Finally death comes, sudden perhaps and unexpected, and puts an end to this brief span of life. Surely there must be an escape from this unsatisfactoriness, from aging and death. Then, at the age of 29, in the flower of youthful manhood, on the day Princess Yasodhara had given birth to Rahula, Prince Siddhartha Gautama, discarding and disdaining the enchantment of the royal life, scorning and spurning joys that most young people yearn for, the prince renounced wife and child, and a crown that held the promise of power and glory. He cut off his long locks of hair with his sword, doffed his royal robes, and putting on a hermit's robe retreated into forest solitude to seek solution to those problems of life that so deeply stirred his mind. He became a penniless wandering ascetic to struggle for enlightenment. First he sought guidance from two famous sages at the time, Alara Kalama and Uddaka Ramapada, hoping that they, being famous masters of meditation, would teach him all they know, leading him to the heights of concentrative thought. He practiced concentration and reached the highest meditative attainments, but was not satisfied with anything less than a supreme enlightenment. These teachers' range of knowledge and experience, however, was insufficient to grant him what he so earnestly sought. Though both sages asked him to stay to teach their followers, he declined and left. He continued to practice many penances and underwent much suffering. He practiced many forms of severe austerity. However, he got no hope. After 6 years of torturing his body so much that it was reduced to almost a skeleton, he changed his method. As his penances proved useless, he gave up extremes and adopted the middle path, and became a Buddha at the age of 35. It is extremely important to remember that renunciation in Buddhism is never caused by despair in the ordinary course of life. As for the Buddha, he enjoyed the greatest possible happiness and privilege known in his day. However, he recognized the suffering inherent in sentient existence, and realized that, no matter how much we may indulge ourselves in pleasures of the sense, eventually we must face the realities of old age, sickness, and death. In short, renunciation in Buddhism means to renounce the worldly pleasures, which will eventually cause sufferings and afflictions, to seek the truth of life, which is absent of greed, anger, and ignorance, so that we can obtain a life of eternal happiness.